Hello. Today I'd like to go over Chapter 6, Set Operators. In set operators, we can use the union all, union, intersect, except. These are based on the joining the data sets. For example, if you join with two tables from, for example, employee temp table and customer temp table, what if you want to find common columns and you want to see the number of records? Those are the considered set operators. Let's go over these options more detail here. Let me just look at these two tables, and you will see. Okay, there you go. So you will see 5 records in here, and 5 records on the bottom. Let me make this bigger. Okay, 5 records here, 5 records here. 5 records in employees table and 5 records in customers table. Now, what if I do union all? Union all will combine, I'm selecting these 3 columns and from these tables, ordered by the country and the cities there. So you can see the records. So 10 records will be shown here. Union all does not exclude, does not make to combine these 2 records. Even though these 2 records are same and this here is same, it will just duplicate this, but it does not reduce the number of records. Whereas if you do on the union instead of union all, let's look at this data set here, then you'll see 8 records. How come there's 8 records? Because it will remove the duplicate records. Once again, if you compare these two, which is the union all and the bottom is union, execute this first data set, you will see these duplicate here. Look for the 2 rows with dupes. So this one is duplicate and this one is duplicate. So that's why you see 10 records here. 10 records. On the bottom one, you see only 8 records because there's no duplicate. UK is shown just once. Here, UK is shown only once. And the Mexico is shown only once instead of twice on the up there. So union is very useful to eliminate the duplicates. Let's look at the intersect. Intersect is common. So UK and London, why do I see only one? Well, this is the record that is in this table, customer temp table and employee temp table. So intersects will give you a data set, number of records. It belongs to both tables. You can use the intersect with here. Select this from and this table, and it will show row num, and it will do a customer temp again. So let's look at this one data set. It will show only 1 records because if you run only this part, it will show 5 records. And if you run only bottom one, it will show these records. You can see the row num over country, region, city ordered by select, which is it will show. Look at this part here. I have 2 records in a customers temp table with these Mexico and DF and same 2 records. But row num, by using the row num over country, region, city, because they are same value, it will show 2 instead of 1. So that's row num is very useful. And because this records union all with row num, that's why it shows only this records that belongs to first data set here. Row num intersect. Except operators. Except operators is removing, subtracting number of records from this records, number of records from this table to this. So if you run this, you will see 5 records shown, and I'm subtracting these records from this table data set. So I have 5 records in here, and I am subtracting bottom data set. So it will show 4 records because on this employee's temp table, there are 4 tables that are not in this sales temp table. So you are getting only you're subtracting only 1 record from this because that record belongs to this customer's temp table also. So this is minus, this records minus on from if there's any records, these records in the first table, then it will remove from the first table. Let's do it the other way. I'm in the customer temp table, and I'm subtracting the from the employee's temp table. So I'm removing these records from if they belong in this this customer table, then that will be removed. Like this, 3 records shown. So these 3 records, they are in this customer's temp table, but not in the employee's temp table. Let's look at the except all multi setting. You can use with common table expression. Except does not. Okay. So except this. So there are times you will have errors, something like this. Then only have to, how to troubleshoot? Well, by itself on the inside, you can run it. So that way you can troubleshoot what is causing the error. And also you can run this separately here. And 5 records shown. Now, once that is okay, then you can run all these from there. So inside is working just fine, common table expression, but with this and except all. Well, what if you run select everything from, there might be a table typo something, then you can find out from this. Shows, okay. So I think that was the first time. So anything happening, exception happening, then you can troubleshoot by subset. That's the nice thing about the queries. So make sure you grab all this, and if you miss it, it will not run. That should have shown. Okay. So it works with the common table expression. And if you grab only without somehow you highlight only up to here, and I think first time that's what happened. Oops. Then you run this, then it will cause an error. Yeah, something like this. So make sure you grab a highlight from width from this part to the bottom here. Let's look at the intersect precedes except. So intersects precedes except. What does that mean? Well, we're going to run this part here. A first table, this supplies table will return 29 records. And employees table, it will return 9 records. Sales customers records table returns 91 rows. So what happens is that it's going to execute this part first, then it will execute the except part. So how do you verify? Well, I'm going to run as a set like this, and it will return 28 records. That means this one is executed first, then it's going to minus all these records from this table here, production suppliers. How do you verify? Well, a first run returns 28 records from here. So this one returns 28 records. Now, I'm going to have parentheses around. So I have parentheses here, I have parentheses here. Same thing as above, except there's parentheses. Parentheses means that this always will be executed first, then it will do outer. Okay, so if I run this one here, if I get the same number of records, 28 records, then it will be same as above. See, 28 records. Now, what if I do same query except I make parentheses up here and here? So how many records do I get it? Because that basically, it means it's going to execute this one first, because even though intersect will execute before the except, because I have a parenthesis here, this will be executed. Then it will execute this. Do I get the 28 records or not? Run this, I get only 3 records. So that verifies it's going to execute this part first, then it's going to do the intersect. Although if we do not have a parenthesis, that means that this on the bottom one will be executed first. Intersects will be first, then it will do the except if we do not have a parenthesis. Let's look at this one here. Country, I'm using union, and same as above here. You highlight inside, make sure this is working. Run this, then a record shown up from this union. Now, group by, you can also do join. You have a subquery inside, then you can group by country. So country is coming in from here. Country, region, cities. As you can see, country, region, cities. This is the data set. This will be used by this outer query. So if I run this part here, it will tell me how many countries in these two tables. So you can see German 1 row, Mexico 1 row, Sweden 1 row, UK 1, USA 4 records. So that's how you can summarize the number of records. So you're using aggregate function here, count, and how many records that's in the country here, as you can see on the bottom here. Two most recent orders for employees 3 and 5. Well, how do I get it? I have top 2, and it says the order by order date is descending. That tells me it will be the latest order, because I have order by order date descending. So that means that it will give the latest the orders. Employee ID equal to 3. That means I'm filtering, I'm care about only employee ID equal to 3. Because I have top 2, that means I'm going to select the latest 2 records, latest orders from this employee ID. Now, another query, I use the union all, and I'm doing the filter. So now I do employee ID equal to 5. Order by is order descending. So I get the latest 2 orders from this table, but I use the employee ID filter equal to 5. So I get only 2 records that belongs to employee ID 5. By running this, I get these records here. So employee 5, employee 2, I have 2 records, because I selected employee ID equals to 3, and I want to see only 2 records, latest orders. So you see these 2 latest orders. Now, on the bottom one here, I have employee ID equals to 5, employee ID equals to 5, and I pick the latest 2 orders. So I see these are the 2 latest orders. In SQL Server 2012, you can use of the set and fetch first two instead of doing top two shown on the bottom here. So this will work on 2000, 2005, 2008. Uh, this will also work in 2012, but in 2012 there's a built-in Microsoft built-in functions that allows you to use instead of top two, you can use the offset. So that means that you can pick the instead of latest two orders, you can pick the latest uh, second latest order and the third latest orders. You can select only those sets by having offset row first and zero and first two records. So if you run this one here, you will get the same data set as shown as above. You will see the same result set. Yeah. So this is the useful if you want to select only the third latest order and the fourth latest orders, then you can easily do 2 and 2. So that means the third and the fourth latest orders instead of first latest orders and second latest orders. So you change this one to be 2.